Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What the Forensics. My name is Journey, and I am joined here today by the lovely Rebecca and Nicole. This week, Rebecca will be telling us all about the case of Jennifer Hillier-Penney. She's a Canadian case, Newfoundland more specifically. I'm really excited to kind of learn more about her case. We did kind of come to realize that there's a publication ban on a lot of the information, and the trial's not till next year. So we will be doing her episode again once the trial is done and kind of updating everyone with some more information. If you could also leave us some reviews and or comments on all of our episodes, we would absolutely love to read them. If you could like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you can, it really helps us grow and reach more people, and it's just fun. Um, and if you could just kindly remember that while we try to do our best for research, we can make mistakes and we are still actively learning. So we hope you enjoy learning with us. We're doing this for fun and we're trying to do our best, but if we make mistakes, we're human. And there are no listeners' discretion advised. So that's rare and kind of nice. And with that being said, I will pass it over to Rebecca to tell us a little bit more about Jennifer.
Thank you. So, getting started, I just want to say that St. Anthony, Newfoundland is a very small and scenic coastal town that's only home to about 22 to 2,400 people. And it has a nickname of Iceberg Alley because of the incredible views of icebergs between May and July. With such small populations in this community, it's very close knit, and it also has a crime rate well below provincial and national averages. And it was because of this that the disappearance of one of their own citizens caused great heartache, confusion, and demand for justice in their community. So, this case, as Journey had said, is about the disappearance of Jennifer Hillier-Penney. Jennifer Hillier-Penney and Dean Penney were high school sweethearts, and they built a life together raising two daughters. They had their first daughter when Jennifer was 17. There's no information to indicate specifically when they got married. However, by 2016, it was clear that they had become estranged, and Jennifer had actually moved out of the family home and was living with her father in St. Anthony at the time. In interviews, Jennifer's friends and family stated that in the months leading up to her disappearance, she was actively seeking separation and was in contact with a lawyer. And she had said to friends that she was fearful of Dean, and Dean was very, very not happy about the prospect of divorce. Reportedly, Jennifer didn't like going back to the family home that they once shared, but Dean had asked her to go stay at the house for a week to look after their daughter Dina. So Dina's school was significantly closer to Dean's house than Jennifer's father's house was. And so they wanted to keep Dina close to the school. And it was because of that reason that Jennifer agreed to spend the week at the house with Dina, despite her reluctance, because she was genuinely fearful of being in his house.
Wow.
So, as the story goes, Dean had said that he was on a week-long hunting trip with a friend of his at their family cabin, about 40 minutes, I believe, from St. Anthony. And so he was already gone for about 4 days as of November 30th. So on the day of November 30th, Jennifer dropped off her sister at an appointment around 8 p.m. And then she told her sister that she'd be seeing her the next evening and that she had a bit of a headache. So she was just going to go to the house and kind of draw herself a bath and relax. But she'd be going to work the next morning. According to reports, Jennifer's sister had stated that on the way to dropping off the sister at the appointment, Jennifer received a phone call from her estranged husband, Dean. And the friend can recall Jennifer picking up the phone and Dean saying, "Are you coming home now?" And Jennifer said, "Yes, I'm coming. I'm coming home now." And he said, "But are you coming right now? Are you coming home?" And then she replied, "Yes, I'm coming home right now. I'll be there in a few minutes." And according to him in a later interview, I believe it was with the Fifth Estate, he claimed that he had forgotten his duck decoys because he was duck hunting and he needs his duck decoys. And so he was coming home to pick them up.
Wouldn't he have a key or access to his home? Like, why would
His
she need to
own
be?
home.
Yeah. Why would she need to be home for him to pick up
the duck decoys. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And also, you're 4 days into a duck hunting trip.
Yeah. That's a
And
good
it's
point.
on yeah, and it's only now that you're like, "Oh no, my duck decoys."
Not my
Mhm.
decoys. Hmm.
As reporting has noted, like stories from the RCMP and the family, once Jennifer arrived to the house, I couldn't find any information on whether or not her and Dean had seen each other at the house, but Jennifer had drawn herself a bath just as she told her sister she would be doing. And she then texted her daughter, Dina, that she would be going to bed shortly as she had a headache and she just kind of needed to get rid of it. And so Dina was out with friends at this point, which is why she wasn't home. She was a teenager having a good time. And she ended up coming home past her 9:30 p.m. curfew. And it was because of this, she kind of like snuck into the house a little bit and didn't go check on her mom. She didn't want to wake up her mom who had a headache. So she just went right to her room when she got home. And Dina, notably, because of this, did not end up seeing her mother the night of November 30th. So to the last person we know saw Jennifer was her sister as they were dropping off at the appointment.
Wow.
So the next morning, it was December 1st, 2016. Dina awoke at about 7 a.m. to her mom's phone alarm going off. This phone alarm was set because Jennifer was expecting to go to work the next morning, as one does. But Dina went in to check on her mom because the alarm just seemed to be going, and it wasn't stopping. It didn't seem like her mom was picking up her alarm. So when she went to check on her mom, she discovered that Jennifer was not in the bedroom. So Dina kind of looked around the house, calling out for her mom, trying to find her. But Jennifer was nowhere to be found, and she didn't leave any notes or any other indicators to say where she may have gone.
Hmm.
At first, Dina wasn't terribly concerned about this. She thought, oh, maybe like my mom got picked up by a friend or something like that. But then when she started to notice the items that were left behind, it started to cause concern. Because usually Jennifer leaving in the morning isn't a big deal because she goes to work. However, her daughter found that she left behind her phone, her purse, her wallet, and her coat. And this is November in the more northern part of Newfoundland, so you very much
Mhm.
need your
Yeah.
jacket. Those were all still inside the house.
Hmm.
And Jennifer was known to like never leave the house without her phone. Also noted was that the bathtub was still full from her supposed bath the night before.
Hmm.
That's weird.
And yeah, and even more alarming, despite Jennifer seemingly being nowhere on the property, her car was still parked in the driveway. So, no
Oh.
sign of mom, but phone, purse, wallet, coat, passport, car, all still at the property as if she was still there.
Mhm.
Weird.
So, yeah, right? So, because of this, Dina had ended up calling a family member, and the family member kind of came over to check it out herself. And then it was this point they decided to call the RCMP. So the family called the RCMP, and they didn't initially treat it as a suspicious disappearance, which shocks me, to be honest, based on the circumstances already. A friend of Jennifer had said during an interview with the Fifth Estate that RCMP initially told the friend that maybe Jennifer just needed a break and she left town. She just needed a break from everything. She was going through a stressful time and she just needed to be on her own. That
You
seems
don't
like
Yeah, you don't do that and leave all of your personal belongings and children at home though and not tell them.
with yeah, you'd say something. And the friend also noted that that was very, very uncharacteristic of Jennifer. Like it was not like Jennifer was actively seeking new employment, sorry, in Glovertown, which is about 750 kilometers from St. Anthony.
Wow.
Wow.
Um, yeah, she really kind of just her friend said she just wanted a bit of a fresh start because she wanted to get away from Dean. She just needed to like kind of pick herself back up again. And she actually was supposed to have a job interview in Glovertown that week, which of course she never made it to. But that being said, her other daughter lived near Glovertown. Her other daughter was living on her own. She was at that age. So she wanted to be closer to her other daughter, and I suspect she would have taken custody of Dina as well and brought her down there. But everyone knew about this. Like this, it's not like she was trying to run away. She was just actively trying to seek a bit of a new start with her family.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously her friend was like, no, that doesn't sound like her. And even if that were the case, she still wouldn't have just not showed up to work. Like that wasn't like her either. Like she would have called into work and told them they weren't coming in. So, despite them not initially treating it as a suspicious disappearance, the police did still spend multiple days doing like searches all around St. Anthony, and they even did searches of the surrounding ocean, like the coast, to see if maybe it was suicide or something, and she could have showed up. However, when 7 days went by and there was still not a single sign of her, like not even a person that says they saw her in town, they finally declared it a suspicious missing persons case. And so it was 7 days after her initial disappearance that the team finally locked down Dean's house and called in a forensic unit.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah. So Jennifer's daughter had stated during an interview with the Fifth Estate that there was like probably upwards of 100 people in and out of that house throughout that week, between family and friends trying to help for the search, the RCMP coming in and out to like help them and take questions and stuff like that. So what use is the forensic investigation team locking down the house a
Yeah.
week later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole like evidence that would be there is now like seriously contaminated and
Yeah.
probably not even there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what her daughter said in the interview. She said, if you're going to come and look for fingerprints, what fingerprints are you looking for? Like, there's been so many people in and out of the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you do think it's Dean, like it's his house, you're gonna find his fingerprints.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, the forensic team finally came in and they did end up doing a search of the house. They did end up collecting a bit of evidence, I believe, at that time. But again, there's not a lot of information about specifically what they've been collecting. The RCMP has kept this case very under wraps. They've been sharing very little with the public, which I guess in a sense is a good thing because it means like they're taking the investigation seriously and they don't want to like jeopardize any of their evidence. But still, the family wasn't hearing from them either, as is par for the course with investigations like this. So the family had essentially kind of thought that the police had given up on her case. I wasn't really positive where to throw this piece of information in, but I thought it was really important. Just 2 weeks before Jennifer went missing, she took Dean off of her life insurance policy and had named her two daughters as the sole beneficiaries of the policy.
oh wow.
Interesting. Hmm.
Yeah.
Is this another
So that,
bathtub girls case?
right? So, like, could that be?
Oh,
Oh!
I never would have thought of that. Oh
Oh.
shit.
That'd be crazy. That like wouldn't even cross my mind had we not done that
Had
episode.
we not covered.
No, right? Yeah, weird coincidence that those were like back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, so as I had said, the family and the public heard very little from the police regarding this investigation, which led the community and the family to believe that the case was going cold. Her friend never stopped putting up posters. Every time a poster looked a little worn or something, she would go and staple it up and then staple a few more just to be safe. But still, they didn't think the police were taking them seriously at all. Despite this, behind the scenes, the RCMP's major unsolved crime unit from Corner Brook, Newfoundland, was in fact working on the case. As I had been saying, which is why this episode is going to be unfortunately a quick one, is that there is very little information pertaining to the specific police investigation right now because it is under a heavy media publication ban in expectation for a trial. But there was some information that the RCMP received an extension to keep a potential piece of evidence. I believe it was 2019. I didn't write down the year, but they had found a piece of evidence at the family cabin that they thought could have evidentiary value. And they did end up receiving an extension to be able to keep that in evidence for further testing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as I said, the RCMP stated that this piece of evidence, which I couldn't find what it was, may have evidentiary value. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the initial search of Dean's house, it was publicly known that they did collect a bit of evidence from there as well, such as pillowcases and bed sheets from their bedroom, as well as mittens and chest waders that they thought could potentially be related. I realize I didn't say this earlier in the episode, but I feel like it's also an important note. Dean was a commercial fisherman, or he was a fisherman, so he very much had access to boats and very much knew his way around the waters of St. Anthony.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't understand the collecting of the pillowcases and the bed sheets.
Yeah, if they're living there and people are coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe people aren't sleeping in their room when they're looking for her. Like that maybe have stayed untouched, but
Yeah, because I feel like she wouldn't have gotten into the bath or have like finished her bath for it there still to be water in the tub. You know? So it's not like
Yeah.
she like finished her bath and then went to bed.
Yeah, that piece
Really?
of evidence really throws me for a loop. Like the fact that the bathtub was still full the next morning, like that's peculiar. It leads me to believe that she never got in the bath.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
say that
agree.
would be my interpretation of it, was that she never entered the bath, because if she was in the bath, like personally, I let the drain go as I'm getting out. Like I don't wait until
Yeah.
I'm out of the bath to let it drain. And
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
if she was in the bath, I feel like her daughter, and like say there was a struggle or she got up and confronted someone or whatever happened, you would see that water around the bathroom. Like it would be
Yeah.
messy. And
Yeah,
by the sounds
exactly.
of it, that wasn't shared from the daughter.
Mhm.
It just was like
Yeah.
a full bath,
And
untouched bath.
I'm not positive like the layout of the
Yeah.
inside of their home. So I don't know if like they have multiple bathrooms and her daughter just didn't end up going into that bathroom that day.
Right.
But still, just a really strange fact. And also, I don't think like I think her daughters are innocent.
Yeah.
We have the bathtub girls on the mind. I do think her daughters are innocent. It's just weird all around this case. Like she really just vanished without a trace,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and no one has been able to find her.
I was just wondering if there's been any information on possibly the boat having been investigated. Like, I would think if the house is being locked down for forensic measures and say Dean's a suspect at this time, if they know he has a boat or whatever, would they not
Mhm.
also investigate that?
Yeah, I am not positive. Everything I've been able to find about boats in this case have been related to the water searches for
Right.
her.
That-
For example, I just opened up a really quick article, and it's related to the slide I'm about to read. But even as of June 11th of this year, so only like 2 months ago, there were crews of like RCMP officers and like private members of the town going out with their boats and operating like sonar devices and going and diving to the bottom of the ocean to try to find her.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
yeah.
I wonder if Derek Varick would be in on that.
I know.
We met a gentleman when we were in a place similar to it. We didn't catch his name, so it's one of the Varick, Derek, Merrick, one of those. So we just call
Okay.
all of them. And this is kind of a side tangent, but that same weekend we were there, the same days, someone had gone overboard in their boat, and because the community is so small, a lot of the search and rescue and like fire and ambulance or whatever are people from the community that just go and volunteer.
Yeah.
So for you to say that that's a lot of private members that are going to help out, it's just that's not too surprising considering like
Yeah.
the search crew that they had for that one gentleman that just went overboard. Or two, it was two people, I think it was a couple that went overboard
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were on their sea-doo with no life jackets on.
at 9 p.m. at night in the ocean.
No, they
That's
were
not-
in a lake. They
Were
weren't on
they?
the ocean. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, Sea-Doo without life jacket isn't a good combination.
Yeah, in June when it's like actually still cold there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
Yeah.
nice weather to be out
No.
on the lake.
Yeah, no, Newfoundland has like maybe 2 months of nice summer before it goes back into being cold,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially in the north.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
fair.
But
Crazy.
as I was saying about the searches, there have been countless ground and underwater searches in the years since her disappearance. Like, I don't think they've ever stopped doing water searches. The RCMP has recently honed in on one kind of specific area off the coast that they're looking. So I'm curious if they have information that obviously they haven't shared yet to indicate that that could be where she was left.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, both members of the public and RCMP have been doing these searches. It is a very, very community wide effort to bring her home. And one such search actually had the RCMP divers going up to 200 feet deep to the ocean floor off the coast of St. Anthony to try to recover her body.
Wow.
Of
Wow.
course, they didn't find it, but I just think it's interesting how many efforts they've made despite like 7 years after her disappearance, not finding her, and we're still sending crews out to
Yeah.
go look at the bottom of the ocean. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Do
not
you
something you see very often is like the continued like we're like 9 years later they're still searching for her. Like that's really
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think there's issues that may arise with community involvement though, and if there are those bad actors that may have information on her disappearance that are like under the guise of volunteering and helping to search, but really they're kind of sending them the other way? Or is there just so many people that it wouldn't matter?
I feel like that's definitely a possibility, but I can't
Yeah, yeah.
elaborate on that.
No, this is just me thinking out loud. Like, I'd be
Yeah,
curious. I don't
yeah,
think
no,
many
for
people
sure.
would know, like, be in on it, but having the community involvement, I'd be interested in how that would impact, like, the court of law then as stuff is found.
Yeah, me as well. And apparent, especially because it's such a small community. And Jennifer, like, it was said that everyone knows everyone in this
Yeah.
community. And Jennifer was pretty well known because she was a very likable, very kind, and approachable person.
Mhm.
Um, no one really had anything bad to say about her. There was a man interviewed during the Fifth Estate documentary that I watched, and I'll put that in the sources because that's where like all the interviews that I've kind of seen were. They interviewed the family members and community members and Dean. Uh, but there was a just a an older man in living in his very remote fishing hut basically and just watching the film crew kind of do their thing. So they went over to talk to him and he was like, "Yeah, no, I she was a great woman, but I can't see anybody killing her.
Hmm.
I don't think I just don't think that's possible. I don't think anyone in our town would do that to her." Like,
Hmm.
so it was like inconceivable to some people that this would happen to Jennifer
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, under the circumstances too that she disappeared, like, literally without a trace too, like, you
Yeah.
would expect something to kind of link everything together.
Yeah, exactly. So her friends and family never stopped searching, even when they thought the RCMP had. And even today, as I said, there's billboards and flyers plastered all over the town of St. Anthony asking anybody for information that might lead to finding her. Every year on the anniversary of her disappearance, the community gets together to hold a walk in her memory. They walk down to the local police station, and they stated that they will do it every single year until there is justice for Jennifer.
Nice. That one note too with how billboards and flyers are still plastered around St. Anthony. It's interesting too because Journey had pointed out and seen flyers, missing posters for her in just, I want to say, north of Flowers Cove,
Hmm.
where like the thrombolites are. We stopped in at a
Oh,
gas
okay.
station there,
Hmm.
and she saw a missing persons poster for her up on the wall inside. And like it was kind of covered with other stuff, so it seems like it had been there a while from what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for it to have that reach too, because I was over an hour, I want to say, south of St. Anthony's.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, this case really did grip all of Newfoundland because it's not terribly common for something like this to happen there.
Yeah.
And like, obviously not everyone knows everyone in Newfoundland, but it is a small province. It's a very community-based province.
Yeah.
So I can totally see how everybody kind of wants justice for one of their own.
Yeah. Well, and even like the Hilliers are a big family by the sounds of it, because we had met a couple who were like, I think our waitress in a couple restaurants or whatever. She's like, oh yeah, like I'm related to everybody.
Yeah. It was like the gas station next door was a Hillier, and then she was a Hillier on like her husband's side. So she married in, and it was like, you just saw the name pop up throughout the area because it was, the Hillier was just a very common name, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so she disappeared in November 30th of 2016. That was the very last time she's ever been sighted. There's been absolutely no trace of her since then. However, in December of 2023, there was a major development in the case. The RCMP announced that they arrested Jennifer's estranged husband, Dean Penney, for first-degree murder, even though her body has never been found. And they have to have a damn strong case to convict or charge someone of first-degree murder without a body even being found.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in what evidence they have. I would love to sit in on this court case and this trial just to see what's presented.
Me too.
No, I'm excited to see what comes out because, like, like you said, not having a body and still being able to charge him with first-degree murder is kind of wild.
Yeah. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall during this trial, or just actually see the trial. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, during the announcement of the fact that they had charged Dean, the RCMP stated that they believe that this has been a case of intimate partner violence. So Dean, of course, pled not guilty. He claims he has absolutely nothing to do with it, and to this day, he maintains his innocence. On June 10th of 2025, so literally like 2 months ago, Penny appeared by video in Supreme Court in St. John's, Newfoundland. They were working through, his lawyers and like the judge were kind of working through the pre-trial proceedings that will lay the groundwork for his upcoming jury trial. So I think we're in the process of like selecting a jury and kind of like building his case and all that fun stuff that comes before a trial. But as of this episode, Dean is still in custody. He's never been released after being initially arrested and charged. I suspect it's because he's probably a flight risk. Like, if he were to get out of jail, he'd probably just dip.
Yeah, definitely.
So he is still in custody awaiting trial, and the trial as of now is expected to begin in April of 2026, which honestly, that kind of like, I understand we have a bad backlog in Canada for cases, but like, he was charged in December 2023.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be past, what's that limitation? It's like,
Jordan ruling.
Yeah. 2 years, I want to say.
Yeah, I know we've spoken about it in another episode, but there is a ruling that like we can't hold people for that long. unless like the defendant themselves is doing things to prolong the hearing. But yeah, I feel like it might be getting dangerously close to that time. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it.
I just wanted to hop on here to let you guys know that the Jordan ruling states that the provincial court has 18 months to go to trial, and the Supreme Court has 30 months. So since this case takes place in the Supreme Court of Canada, they have until June 2026 to go to trial.
As I said, a lot of this was like publication ban, so a lot of the information we have is what the RCMP was willing to release, and then it's also information because the family's been very outspoken and they've been obviously trying to spread this as far and wide as they can. But I would really love to do an episode after the trial, even though that's next year, so we're going to be waiting a while. But if there's like any updates or anything that come in, I might just pop something onto Facebook on our social media to say like, hey, little update. But yeah, as of right now, that is pretty much what we know about her disappearance and the findings of her, or the lack of finding,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Just a little bit of information because it's important stuff. Jennifer Hillier-Penney at the time of disappearance was 38 years old. She weighed 160 to 170 pounds and had blonde hair and green eyes. It could just be it's just good information to have,
Mm-hmm.
um, if you happen to be in the area and find something suspicious.
I didn't
um,
realize she was so young.
Yeah,
yeah,
me neither. Do you know where the trial's being held yet, or is that part of the pretrial proceedings? Because with how well known like the people are and how small like the community is, I'd figure that would impact jury selection and where the trial is taking place. I guess in
yeah.
St. John's it would be fine at that
I,
point.
I, he's either so far he's been like he's done pre-trial proceedings in both the provincial court in Corner Brook and the Supreme Court in St. John's.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely positive where his final trial is going to be. Case returns to okay, yeah. So I'm just reading a report right now. The case returns to Corner Brook Supreme Court next month to deal with additional applications ahead of the trial. So I do suspect it's either going to be in the Supreme Court in Corner Brook or in St. John's. And
Right.
I would think Corner Brook because it's closer to the
Yeah.
community. It's still like a few hour drive from St. Anthony, but
Yeah.
it's on the west coast. So
Yeah.
yeah, St. John's or Corner Brook.
When we first started talking about this case, I thought her body had been found, and that's why it's going to trial. So it was interesting to learn that just
Oh.
they have got nothing.
But they
Oh
must
yeah.
I like they must have something is the thing. Cuz like how are you going
Mm-hmm.
to charge someone with first degree murder with nothing? Which I understand you're not going to play all your cards out and show the public before
Mm-hmm.
trial, but like
Yeah. I
what?
did see it was like one article. So I'm not like it's probably truthful, but it was so vague that I didn't really include it, but it did note that one of the pieces of evidence that they have is something that they received or something that they found discovered because of an undercover operation.
Oh.
A little sting action going on.
Yeah, maybe some Mr. Big or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that both of our
so
Mr. Big episodes will have taken place in Newfoundland.
That's
yeah, what the heck?
That's
That's weird.
crazy.
I didn't even consider that, but yeah. But yeah, the RCMP really has been keeping their evidence in wraps, but I think that that is a good thing because like
Mm-hmm.
it can very well like taint the judgment of a
yeah.
jury if
Oh
that were to
yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
Um it's just like I want to know more. I
Yeah.
want to I want to be like an armchair detective and put all the pieces together myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get
But
that.
But yeah, that is in a nutshell what we know right now. Articles do still frequently come out about it. Like I was actually amazed to see how many articles in the last just like 2 or 3 years have been released. Like to actually find like initial case details, I had to like do the Google search. It was like 2016 to 2018. But yeah, I just love how active the community still is on this case because there was I think 3 other disappearances from St. Anthony in the past like 10 or 20 years, but this one has really gripped them. This one
Yeah.
is like different for some reason than the others. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on if anything else significant happens, but we'll cover it again when the trial's concluded.
I don't think you're gonna know the answer to this, but this is just something I thought of, and I hope the police have as well. Were the duck decoys found in the house?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd be curious if he actually came by to pick them up, or if like they were just not there beforehand. Or I mean, I guess it was they didn't lock the house down until 7 days after, so he may have come back from the trip by then. But
Yeah,
like,
true.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the forensic side of things on what they're looking for in the house
Yeah.
after a
Mm-hmm.
week of people being in and out there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know,
Yeah,
honestly.
just
I'm not
thinking out
sure
loud.
if that's what they found.
We'll find out next April.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just once again, I, like, control F'd an article and looked up evidence, and it's just like, they're holding on to potential evidence in the investigation, holding on to piece of potential evidence, and it's so vague. It's like, I wanna know what you have.
Yeah.
It's also frustrating, like, if there was a struggle or if anything was, like,
Yeah.
misplaced or taken, like, they had 7 days to, like, clean the house and change everything and, like,
Yeah.
set it back up, and then if you forget about it or, like, don't think it's anything important,
Mhm.
then it's just information you don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like, yeah, I can't believe it took them 7 days to lock down the initial crime scene, because that's what it is, it's a crime scene. It's the last
Yeah.
place that
Exactly.
she was apparently at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
For them to see all of the evidence, well, in the moment, the circumstances, and them go, maybe she just needed a break. She's gonna leave all
yeah.
of her shit, and she just needed a break.
Yeah,
But
maybe she
okay.
left on barefoot through the cold November St. Anthony
Yeah.
weather. She just walked away.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like,
Like,
yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to note real quick that because this was regarding intimate partner violence, if you are experiencing intimate partner violence or know someone who is, I'll post this resource on our website, but the government of Canada has resources and like crisis hotlines specific to every single province. So, yeah, that will be on our website. They also have information about shelters and things like that if you're needing assistance. So, yeah, that is that.
Crazy. Well, thank you for sharing. What an interesting case. I'm very, very excited to see the evolution of it, and I think, yeah, it'll be wild to kind of keep tabs on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, thank you. Nicole, I see you have a forensic corner.
I do.
Yay.
It's the joys of artificial intelligence. So,
Oh, oh boy.
I don't know if
Did
you
you
guys.
find this morning?
No, I found
Okay.
it. I saw it last week at some point. I saw it, but it's like this past month is something happened with it.
Okay, because I saw something hilarious too that I wonder if it's the same thing.
It could very well be the same thing.
Okay.
But this is about a 60-year-old man. He brought himself into emergency departments, expressing concern that his neighbor was poisoning him. And
Hmm.
so I'm not 100% sure when he took himself into the hospital. The article that I read, like the published, what am I saying? The academic paper that was published, it was at the start of August, I want to say, of this year of 2025. So my assumption is it was within the past couple of months this happened. But he had no past psychiatric or medical history. And at the time, his vital signs were normal. They had a physical exam that came back normal and a neurological exam that came back normal. And on admission, he kind of was sharing some things that just made the staff go, that's odd. But he shared that he followed multiple like rigorous dietary restrictions and that he distilled his own water at home. He
Oh,
noted it was noted that he was very thirsty when he was there, but he was also very paranoid and distrustful of the water that the emergency department staff offered him.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
strange. Sounds like rabies.
Yeah, right? Like it kind
Mhm.
of gives a couple different options. Not one you would initially think of, I'll tell you that. But rabies would be something that I would think of first. The staff ended up contacting poison control department and they got involved. They did some testing and initially, some flags went off to think maybe bromism was a likely cause. I
Oh,
can't say I've ever heard of bromism before. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But in the first 24 hours of admission, the patient expressed paranoia as well as auditory and visual hallucinations. He tried to escape, and he was placed
oh.
into an involuntary psychiatric hold. He was treated with intravenous fluids and electrolytes. He became mentally stable enough to be admitted into the inpatient psychiatric unit. And then he started sharing some more information about kind of the past couple of months and saying that he was on a restrictive vegetarian diet and he faced other symptoms such as insomnia, difficulties with balance and walking, and
Hmm.
being extremely thirsty. And these are all kind of symptoms that would align with bromism. And if you're wondering what bromism is, because I didn't know what it was, this is just bromide toxicity. And this causes neurological and psychiatric symptoms, including insomnia, hysteria, and anxiety, to name a few. And this was thought to have contributed up to 8% of psychiatric admissions in the 20th century.
Really? I've
So,
never even heard of it.
right? So bromism was a little more prevalent back in the 20th century when bromide, I guess, was just in everything. It's
Hmm.
much more rare today because we don't see bromide in human consumption material for the most part, if at all. But after further discussion, the patient then shared that I don't know if he like went to school for nutrition, or he had some history of nutrition and learning about whatnot. He shared that he read about negative effects that sodium chloride or table salt has on someone's health. But through his research, he was shocked that the literature he could find only really discussed reducing sodium levels from diets rather than like offering healthier replacements or alternatives. So this gentleman took it into his own hands and consulted ChatGPT about what possible alternatives could be.
Oh,
He
good.
did a personal experiment based on the AI's response, which stated that bromide could be swapped for chloride, although likely for other purposes such as cleaning. So through 3 months, he replaced sodium chloride in his diet with sodium bromide, which is a chemical often used to control like algae and bacteria in pools. So you'll see like
What?
bromide tabs or hear of bromide
Yeah.
tabs for pools. That's sodium. From my understanding, that's sodium bromide.
What the heck?
So for
Dude.
3 months, based on his AI investigation, he was consuming sodium bromide.
That's whack.
Where do you go to buy that? Like, would
You can go
you
to a
not
pool
think,
store, I
like, I need to
think.
go to a pool store to buy my table salt and then be
To
like, maybe I don't put that in my body?
No,
Yeah.
no, and I'm sure my hope and assumption would be if you're buying sodium bromide, it's gonna have warning labels on it, like,
Don't
"Not for
consume.
consumption."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have this enter your body, please.
Yeah.
So he was there for a little while. It took 3 weeks of admission for his levels to kinda go back down to normal and his psychotic symptoms to improve. It is something that you can treat effectively and just kind of, like, wash out of the system if you're able to get to it fast enough.
That's good.
But shockingly, I found that, like, the average reference range for bromide levels in your body is about zero point 0.9 to 7.3 milligrams per liter.
Okay.
This gentleman's levels were 1,700 milligrams per liter.
Oh.
That sounds deadly to have anything in that amount in your body.
How are
Oh
you
my goodness.
functioning at
It's like it
this?
replaced his blood.
Yeah.
That's
It was just
crazy.
way too high, way too high.
That is insane. Holy shit.
Right?
That's
Wow.
like okay, I don't know math, but that's like a lot of times more.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, obviously, in the, like, publication I was reading, it was saying this kinda just highlights kind of some issues around artificial intelligence and how it could
Mhm.
potentially contribute to the development of preventable adverse health outcomes, because
Mhm.
if you're going to a general practitioner asking about what does bromide do for the body, or like, can I replace chloride with bromide, sort of thing, the
Mhm.
doctor's hopefully going to say, well, why are you asking this? Like, what's the
Yeah.
purpose? Are you looking for an alternative? Let's maybe not consume a different chemical. So, researchers, I can't remember what version it was. I want to say it was like 3.5 or 4.0 of the AI software. But researchers then went back because his chat logs were inaccessible. They
Mm.
then separately asked the AI what chloride could be replaced with. And again, it produced responses including bromide. While the AI response did indicate that context matters in the case, it didn't proceed to go into further detail about how, like, any health concerns that would come with it. Like, it was just like,
Yeah.
well, this could be used, but depends on what you need it for.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, if you're not, I don't know if they're specifically asking, can you consume bromide? Can you,
Mhm.
all of these things? I don't know. But I don't know if there's now like health measures in place. I haven't poked around with ChatGPT regarding this, but kind of
This make
along. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's sorry. I was just gonna say this makes me want to ask the same question to chat,
Right?
Mhm.
Just
and
to
then like,
see.
and then follow up like, can I use it for replacing it in my food?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what it says.
Yeah. Like, where are you getting this information from? Are you
Yeah,
a medical practitioner?
give me your sources.
But kind of along like the same stream, it makes me think, I guess, with the newest update, I saw there's a handful of people that exist in the world that have AI boyfriends and AI girlfriends and
Mm-hmm.
partners.
That's what I saw this morning.
Yeah, so I guess with the most recent update is they've kind of cracked down on that, and now the AI prompts, the ChatGPT prompts you with like, if you're lonely, seek help kind of thing. Go seek your friends and family. Like, this isn't a alternative to companionship, essentially.
Not your e-girlfriend,
Yeah.
basically.
So I'd be interested to see if they have those medical kind of, hey, by the way,
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe don't
that's
do that.
interesting.
Well, even like Googling the question or ChatGPTing the question of like, what replacements for chloride is there? Like, your first thought isn't consumption.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
if
Mm-hmm.
it was like maybe sodium chloride or like, what can I, like, replacements for salt in my diet?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
then
table
Yeah,
maybe.
salt.
But like that
yeah.
initial question, like, I feel like they wouldn't need to have a health thing because if that's what they typed, I think you wouldn't expect them to be ingesting it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's fair. Like, are you looking to change it in your cleaning habits? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or like your pool habits, like what? That's
Going from a saltwater pool to a chlorine pool, I guess, going
yeah,
backwards.
that's
But
crazy.
he seems, from the publication I read, he seems to be okay now and back to normal, but he kind of
that's
went on a
good.
bit of a psychotic break. It's not great. So,
Damn. Yeah, AI is getting scary in terms of how much people are relying on it. Like,
oh yeah.
like you were saying, there's so many cases of
Oh yeah.
like specifically like the AI romances, and a teenager, I think it was within the last 2 years, committed suicide because his AI girlfriend told him to.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
like you
That's
can't
crazy.
that's wild.
Yeah, like basically, I don't know the full story, but basically, like he had an AI girlfriend and he was really depressed. So he was saying things like, I wish I could be with you forever, da da da. And she was like, oh, my king, like we'll be together one day, like literally using like this kind of language. And he was like, if I like did XYZ, like I'd never see you again. And she was like, no, my love, like I would be there with you. And he was like, I'm gonna see you soon. And she was like, okay, see you soon. And
Join the ether with me.
yeah.
Hmm.
Wild.
And there's another case recently of a man who cheated on his wife, who he has two kids with an AI, and asked to open the relationship so his AI girlfriend can be a part of it.
Like, I'm
Like,
sure AI could have practical and beneficial uses, but in a very, very small context. We do not, the
Hmm.
world doesn't need
This
AI to
much
be
access.
this much access. Like, ugh, so
that's
many implications to
crazy.
it. So
That
don't listen to AI for medical advice or
yeah.
relationship advice or health advice, like any type of personal advice, I would say.
Like with most
Yeah.
things, get a second opinion. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
trust AI as like your single source. Like, I think we've kind of come to the place now where most people realize you can't always take AI just at its word because where
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
getting its information from? How is the code written? What's like
Yeah. who's writing the code, right?
Exactly. Like, you can't, like, yeah, it's helpful, but still double check, right? Like,
Yeah.
check your sources, including AI. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, thank you, Nicole. That was not what I saw. I had seen a Reddit post of people being sad that their AI girlfriends and boyfriends weren't accessible.
Yeah.
That's whack.
Tragic.
It's so sad. Speaking of sad, our next topic is 9/11. Since
What
our
a
episode,
segue.
Very sad.
Since our episode comes out on September 11th, we kind of thought we'd do a little bit of a tribute to the terror attacks of 9/11. So stay tuned for that episode. But yes, with that, if you want to stay updated on what we're doing, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok at What the Forensics. Our website is whattheforensics.ca, and it's kind of like your one-stop shop for everything forensics. We post updates on cases. We've got our sources, source images, recommendations for any sort of media. We've got our email, whattheforensics@gmail.com, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And with that, this has been another episode of What the Forensics. We hope you learned something new, and we're excited to see you next time.
Bye.
Just a reminder to everyone that we are not professionals in the forensic science field. We are just interested in forensics and want to share what we are learning with our listeners. We're trying to give you the most accurate information, but we are human and can make mistakes. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you next week.